everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, What Cass Read. Today I'm going to do the mid-year book Freakout tag for 2019. I know that I haven't been on BookTube for a bit, but now that it's halfway through the year, I feel like this is a really good way to catch you up on some of the stuff that I've been reading this year, and I just love this tag. I love watching it. I love doing it every year, so let's get to it. Okay, question number one is, what is the best book I've read so far in 2019? It's really hard for me to pick because one of the other videos that I'm posting is like the best books that I've read so far in the spring. So there's just been a lot of good stuff that I've been hitting out of the park this year, and I think a lot of it has to do with me judging the BookTube SFF Awards. There's been a lot of good stuff. But the best book, I would say, so far this year has been Strange the Dreamer, written by Laini Taylor. This is the first book that I've ever read by Laini Taylor. I've already read the second book for the BookTube SFF Awards, and I honestly just don't know how I could possibly describe how beautiful this book is. I am immediately surrounded by the story because of the way that she writes and because of the way she makes her characters speak. So this follows a young man named Laszlo Strange, and he is obsessed with this lost city, mythical city named Weep. The name of the city has been snatched from living memory, and he has just been obsessed with the city since he was a young boy, craving adventure. So it's a young, adventurous boy who is trained as a librarian and has all this like story knowledge, but then ends up going on a quest. And I feel like people don't really talk about it that much to that like great detail. They just talk about Laszlo Strange, librarian, city named Weep, and I'm telling you, this is so beautiful. So this was the best book that I've read so far in 2019. The second question is, what is the best sequel that I've read so far in 2019? And that is a book that I've just finished up. This is A Closed and Common Orbit, written by Becky Chambers. This is book number 2 in the Wayfarers series, the first book being A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, and I have been working my way through this series, again, because of the BookTube SFF Awards. I rated the first book 4 stars, and then I rated this book 5 stars. I absolutely love this sequel because it has a very specific sci-fi trope that I adore, and that is when you have sentient artificial intelligence grappling with what it means to be human or what humanity means to them. It is a very particular trope that I eat up nonstop. We follow Lovelace, an artificial intelligence unit who's been uploaded illegally into a body kit, just learning what her past was, learning what her future might be. But then we also get some snippets back to a young girl named Jane who was raised by an artificial intelligence on a ship. And the two opposing storylines really spoke to me. It was just, I enjoyed it so much. I really loved this book. So this one I gave 5 out of 5 stars as well. Okay, question number 3 is a new release that I haven't read yet, but I want to. Oh my god. The Priory of the Orange Tree, written by Samantha Shannon. How big is this book? I don't even know. Let's check. 830 pages. 830 pages. I bought this book after I was tapped to judge the BookTube SFF Awards, knowing full well that I just wasn't gonna get to this anytime soon. Honestly, I don't know that much about the storyline, other than it's just got all the beats to some classic epic fantasy that, you know, I love and adore. There's an East meets West kind of vibe, there's assassins, there's a royal court, dragons. You know, do I need to talk any more about the kind of books that I read on my channel? Probably not, but this one is one that I really want to get to. Who knows when? Okay, question number 5 is my biggest disappointment. That would be Trail of Lightning, written by Rebecca Roanhorse. I did end up rating this book 2 out of 5 stars. I had someone comment on my Goodreads, they're like, oh my gosh, I have not seen a rating that low for this book. Like, would you mind talking about why in a video? So of course I will. I'm also planning on doing a BookTube SFF Awards wrap-up so you can get my thoughts on all the books that I've read for this award season. This is a post-apocalyptic urban fantasy. It follows a young woman named Maggie, who to me was just like your very stereotypical like rough and tumble like urban fantasy main female character. She lives on her own. She was kind of raised off in a really untraditional way, and therefore she had to grow up tough, and she wears a leather jacket and she likes to shoot guns. That's why I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. Just the beats of this story were like a storyline that was super tired that I've read before. And nothing about Maggie, to me as a reader, felt like she was this independent character that she is supposed to be. There was nothing in here that really she was doing for herself. Everything that she does is for another character. Of course, all the traumatic experiences happen to her because of a man that we spend a majority of the time chasing after, and then this love interest thing. I should also point out, though, that the world building of this is like top notch. It's a post-apocalyptic United States where the Navajo Nation has walled itself off of the rest of the country. There was this cataclysmic event that happened to the country, so the United States is no more. The Navajo Nation walled themselves off, and by doing that, then their powers were able to rise up again. We get to follow a lot of the Navajo myths in this story, so all of that was really great. Like, that in itself was like a four star. But when you boil it down nuts and bolts to the kind of story that we got from it, it was the same tired storyline that I've seen before, and I was pretty disappointed in this one, and that's why I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Question number 6 is my biggest surprise. Honestly, that goes to The Cruel Prince, written by Holly Black. I picked this up because it's one of the BookTube SFF Awards nominees. Gosh, like, this whole week should just be like recap on my BookTube SFF award stuff. But anyways, I picked this one up fully thinking that, like, man, the YA category is just not gonna do it for me. I haven't really felt connected to many like YA books in a long time. Well, I was wrong. There's nothing like in the synopsis of this book that really spoke to me when I first picked it up. It's a young girl and her sister. They grow up in the world of fairy. It's a stepfather takes them back into the world of fairy situation, and she has to grow up as human, experiencing what it means to be a human in this fairy world, and sort of the tricks and the sinister nature of fairy they really have to be on the lookout for, because they're humans and they are mortal and things are not built for them in this world. And so everything about that is just like, been there, done that. I was totally surprised by this book. I read this 5 out of 5 stars. There's just something in this book that, like, spoke to me. I can't even tell you, like, the writing's fine. The characters are characters that you've seen before, but honestly, it was like every single time I thought I got a beat on Jude Duarte, Holly Black would just like completely turn that trope on its head. And she kept me guessing. She honestly kept me guessing through the whole book. So, well done. I loved it. Biggest surprise, The Cruel Prince. Okay, question number 7 is my favorite new author. And I'm going to say favorite new to me author that I have encountered is definitely Becky Chambers. I feel like Becky Chambers is my Robin Hobb of sci-fi. Everything is a slower pace, but you really get the internal thoughts of all of these characters, and when an author can just pull me in and it's like there's not a lot of action happening, it's just day to day stuff happening on the ship or stuff happening with Sidra or Jane. I can't even handle all the emotions and thoughts that I'm having for all of these characters and all of these different races of characters and alien races that I just never knew that I needed or never knew that I wanted. Becky Chambers completely knocked it out of the park for me in a genre that isn't my top go-to genre, that being sci-fi. So yes, I think Becky Chambers is my Robin Hobb of sci-fi, which says a lot. Okay, question number 8 is my newest fictional crush. I don't have many fictional crushes this year. So I will say that Prince Carden from The Cruel Prince is probably the closest thing I have to a crush, a fictional crush. Not that he's like a standout character. He seems to be, of all the books that I've read, like the only crush that was worth crushing on. You know what I mean? Not a bad thing, but I just don't think I have many fictional crushes this year. Question number 9 is my newest favorite character. So I finally picked up this book. This is Red Seas Under Red Skies, written by Scott Lynch. And my newest favorite character is going to be Captain Drakasha. She is the captain of the pirate ship that Locke and Jean find themselves a part of their crew. A female captain, boss woman raising her kids on a pirate ship. And there were just so many very specific female things for me in this one character that, again, didn't know that I needed, but absolutely adored. As a matter of fact, I feel like I didn't get enough piracy in this book. I'm very happy that I finally got to this book this year. Okay, question number 10 is a book that made me cry. I actually don't think there was a single book that made me cry yet. There's still half of the year left to go, so nothing in this category for me right now. Question number 11 is going to be a book that made me happy. Well, it's always going to be Wundersmith, written by Jessica Townsend. This is the second book in the Nevermore series, Wundersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow. I reread this book for the BookTube SFF Awards, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to reread it again for the Book Junkie Trials. Question number 12 is the most beautiful book that I've bought so far this year, or that I've received. The most beautiful book. Most beautiful. I have a couple. So the first one is Skyward, written by Brandon Sanderson. This is the UK edition of the cover. Stunning, fabulous. I just love the whole vibe of this cover. This cover inspires me to read the book more so than the American version, and I really enjoyed this book too. And then the other book that I just adore the cover is In an Epson Dream, written by Shannon Mcguire. And I mean, just like the door inside the tree, if that's not a total vibe for me, I just don't know what is. Everything about living in the North Woods and the forests and just forest stories really speak to me on so many levels. Not that this was an entirely foresty story, but you know, the cover. Okay, and the last question is, what books do I need to read by the end of the year? I can't cheat and say all of them, even though that's like super true, but a sci-fi book that I really want to get to is A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe, written by Alex White. One of my favorite booktubers, Jess, she has gone on and on and on about this book, and then the second book came out. She spoke so highly of it, and she's like really the person that like attracted me to this book. There's like a secret society, treasure hunters, a racer like through the galaxy. I don't know. There's just a lot of different things in this book that feel like they don't fit, but she talked about it so much that it does, and I can't wait. And then the next book that I really need to get to, I put it down. I don't remember when I last showed this book to you. This is Ruined by John Gwynne. This is the third book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. This book has been taking me a minute to get through, and I really just want to finish this book up so I can check this off my list. It's a series that I really enjoy. I felt like the second book really picked up. The third book does feel a little bit middle of the adventure to me, but I've been promised that the fourth book is really going to pick up the pace, so I just want to get this book done and move on to the next one. All right, so there you have it, my mid-year book freakout tag for 2019. Please feel free to join in on this tag video or just film it yourself. Post your thoughts on mid-year books on Twitter, whatever you want to do. I absolutely love checking in the middle of the year and see where things are at, see how things are going for everybody. And of course, if you want to keep up with me, you can always follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's at whatcassread, same as this channel. And Goodreads, that link is always going to be listed down below. So if that's your preferred platform of choice, you can always find me on there. Otherwise, you know how these videos end. I'll talk to you later. Bye.